The news that will not surprise anyone is that HMRC announced there will be a penalty soft landing period for MTD for income tax. Why this is not unexpected is because we had exactly the same for VAT when that rolled out, and we'd already talked about this in some previous HMRC updates. The problem is that MTD for income tax has been delayed and pushed back and rolled over so many times that I think that kind of news has got lost by the wayside a while ago. This soft landing period only exists for the tax year 26-27, and it only applies to the quarterly updates. The usual penalty regime is still there for the annual tax returns, final declaration, etc. So you've got to make sure you get that tax return done. It's just to encourage people to engage with the process, but not penalize them if they don't quite get it right first time.
I'm the correspondent coming to you from the ground. Opinions seem to be mixed, but fairly predictable. Many see this as nonsense by the day, obsessing over £1,000 side gigs while obvious non-compliance goes on elsewhere untouched by HMRC. Quite a few in the comments openly planning for malicious compliance. So register, ignore quarterly updates during the soft year, then file one cumulative update plus the return in 2027. Seems a little bit devious and evil. We don't have accountants like that, do we? And there's also a bit of a split. Some firms are using MTD to standardize clients onto software and quarterly workflows. Others are proudly not being turkeys voting for Christmas, especially for CIS subbies and micro trades, where software and quarterly reporting are pure overhead. But underneath it all, there's one common theme. There's still no obvious benefit for the clients, just extra complexity, unclear guidance. And I loved reading some of the reactions to this.
I would just say one thing that I think is a bit of a risk for the malicious compliers. I actually presented on this at an ICAW event a few weeks ago. You've got to remember that HMRC has one of the biggest data collection capabilities and databases in the entire world. They are scraping data not just from the submissions we make through VAT, income tax, corporation tax, etc., but they're getting data from the land registry, from lots of online platforms like eBay, etc. And we also know that HMRC increasingly use that data to target businesses where they feel that there's non-compliance, and so they're looking for exceptions. So I think whether you maliciously comply or whether you just put fairly fudged numbers or estimated numbers in, if they are outside the bounds of what HMRC are expecting, you could potentially put your client at risk of some kind of investigation, which comes with more cost than probably the compliance of dealing with all of this. Nothing's come from HMRC, but I do personally feel that's too much of a risk for a professional to potentially expose their clients on it.